Hey everybody, welcome to my third video. It's been a while since I've posted some content. The cause of that is mainly because I was recovering from a herniated disc, if that rings any bells. It's just horrible. I mean, the pain it was so unbearable. I wasn't able to walk, to sit. The only thing I could do was to lay down. I didn't feel any pain then, and I had to take some rest. It took 1 month, and after 1 month I was able to walk short distances, to sit without pain. And I also took a lot of painkillers for 1 month. And it was actually also my birthday on the 4th of July. I had planned a trip to Berlin, to Berghain, because my friend was playing there. And I decided to go to Berlin. And on the day I was traveling to Berlin, actually, I didn't take any painkillers because I thought I was getting better because I didn't feel any pain anymore. I mean, not that intense. However, the cause of that was, of course, the painkillers. So when I was on the train, I became nauseous. I felt a lot of pain. I couldn't handle it. And then I decided to get off at the next stop. I will stay in the Netherlands and go back home safely, sound and secure. Health first, of course. And I took a lot of rest and listened to my body and to the neurologist. Now, finally, I am mobile again. I'm slowly going to the gym again. And while I was recovering, I had a lot of time to read. And in this period, I finished Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre was written by Charlotte Brontë. She published Jane Eyre under the male pseudonym Currer Bell. Charlotte did this to ensure her work was taken seriously and to avoid prejudice female writers often faced in the 19th century. Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, faced similar hardships and prejudices. In 1818, she published Frankenstein anonymously. The sisters of Charlotte Brontë, Emily and Anne, also published under a male pseudonym. I do possess Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. I have the Clothbound edition. Absolutely love the cover, it's stunning. And the back also. But what do you think of the Clothbound editions? I hear many opinions and different views. My friend recommended me to keep the Clothbound editions as a collector's item because the covers kind of fade. And while reading, they are not very comfortable in the hands. I have to say, I like the colors. They are very flashy in contrast with the Penguin Classic editions. But I'm fond of the Penguin Classics. They are floppy. And as you're reading, they kind of get your own signature and mark. It just looks very mysterious. I like the aesthetics. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. A brief introduction to the story. In Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, we follow the life of Jane in the span of her childhood to adulthood, as she battles through a series of hardships, eventually trying to find her own independence and love. The back says, a novel of intense emotional power, heightened atmosphere and fierce intelligence, Jane Eyre dazzled and shocked readers with its passionate depiction of a woman's search for equality and freedom on her own terms. Its heroine Jane endures loneliness and cruelty in the home of her heartless aunt and the cold charity of Lowood School. Her natural independence and spirit prove necessary when she takes a position as governess at Thornfield Hall. But when she finds love with her sardonic employer, Rochester, the discovery of a shameful secret forces her to make a terrible choice. This was the introduction to the story. As for my annotation system, I used 5 categories, aka 5 colors. Yellow for self-reflection on my personal life, orange for character development, pink for passages or sentences I love, blue for introspection, psychology, inner world, I love blue. Green for deepening themes and symbolism. Later on, I will shortly discuss an annotation for each color. Why do I love this book? Lol. I love this book for several reasons. The first one is the gothic atmosphere. At times, the atmosphere in Jane Eyre is very eerie, dark, bizarre, and I'm here for it. At the same time, it's hauntingly beautiful. I won't say this is a horror novel, but there's definitely a mystery going on. as the back said, and then it shifts from suspense to climax. The second reason is the character Jane Eyre herself. She's someone that sticks to her dignity and self-respect, even though at times this isn't always the best option. She takes risks, stays true to herself, and to me that was very inspiring. Next to this, Jane develops some inner voice of reasoning. It's like a separate entity speaking to herself, and at one moment in the book, she speaks directly to us, calling us readers. This was very empowering, strong, and also fascinating. She asks us questions, challenges us with her morality. It doesn't happen too often, but when it happens, I just got goosebumps. The third reason is the depth. The story is not too complex in my opinion, it's pretty straightforward, but it's definitely layered with symbolism and references. I kept another bookmark at the notes, so I could easily switch to them, as they give much insights of certain phrases. There are references to Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë, to Paradise Lost by John Milton, Arabian Nights, and also to The Odyssey, which I saw 2 weeks ago and it was just amazing. Absolutely loved it. I want to watch it again. However, the reference to The Odyssey I read by Jane Eyre kind of spoiled some parts for me, but I'm familiar with Greek mythology. I just forgot certain parts. So it was alright, but still, yeah, I won't go into too much details, so I won't spoil it for you. But it was about a dog. Anyways, we see Jane develop from child to adult. She experiences many adventures, meets interesting characters, and it's just such a blast. Could some introspective thoughts be shortened? Yes, but it didn't bother me too much because I just love the writing style by Charlotte Brontë. Now I would like to share some annotations I made, and if you didn't read Jane Eyre yet and you want to, I advise you to skip this part so you don't get any spoilers because there are definitely some small minor spoilers and it's better to just go blankly into Jane Eyre to experience it fully by yourself and don't be biased. So the first annotation I would like to share is this one. I will read the sentence and then I will read my thoughts so you have some idea how I annotate. On a dark, misty, raw morning in January, I had left the hostel roof with a desperate and embittered heart, a sense of outlawry and almost of reprobation to seek the chilly harborage of Lowood, that bourne so far away and unexplored. The same hostel roof now again rose before me. So for this part, I used a yellow sticky tab because I wrote down a personal reflection on my own life. And this feeling is very similar to me when you avoid certain places because they remind you of certain memories you like to forget. I wrote this down that it reminds me of my own life and that I'm able to confront myself now and face my fears more, and that I try to develop and be more aware of this. In a sense, I use this part of the book for self-development and to make myself more aware of my own strength. For this one, I used an orange sticky note because this is focused on character development. My disposition is not so bad as you think. I am passionate but not vindictive. Many a time as a little child, I should have been glad to love you if you would have let me, and I long earnestly to be reconciled to you now. Kiss me, aunt. Wrote down that Jane was able to stay true to her own self and that she was able to explain calmly what she felt at that moment. And she's able to be rational instead of too emotional. Also, I wrote some themes like forgiveness, compassion, and moral strength. On to the next one. A sneer, however, whether covert or open, had now no longer the power over me it once possessed. As I sat between my cousins, I was surprised to find how easy I felt under the total neglect of the one and the semi-sarcastic attentions of the other. For this part, I used a blue sticky note, which stands for psychology, introspective thoughts, inner worlds, and I wrote down that Jane is conscious of the fact that the sneers by Elisa and Georgiana don't hurt her anymore. She grew and she is emotional, more stable and less vulnerable. And I also made some notes to myself. I wrote down that I recognize myself in this part, that I'm also more aware that certain people can't hurt me anymore because I grew. For the next annotation, I used the color pink because I really like this passage. It's very descriptive and emotionally strong. I believe he is of mine. I am sure he is. I understand the language of his countenance and movements. Though rank and wealth sever us widely, I have something in my brain and heart, in my blood and nerves, that assimilates me mentally to him. I wrote down that Jane's thoughts about this person are so deep and also almost obsessive. And Brontë is writing very poetical and vividly about binding heart, soul, and brain, and even blood and mental connection. And I also wrote down that I'm kind of familiar with this feeling. I just love that literature can do this to me, connecting on a personal level, inspire me about my own flaws or strengths, and make me think about certain aspects. The last annotation I would like to share is the color green. And green stands for symbolism, themes, and deepening. Probably, if I had lately left a good home and kind parents, this would have been the hour when I should most keenly have regretted the separation. That wind would then have saddened my heart. This obscure chaos would have disturbed my peace. As it was, I derived from both a strange excitement, and reckless and feverish, I wished the wind to howl more wildly, the gloom to deepen to darkness, and the confusion to rise to clamor. As for the annotation, I wrote down strong symbolism, where snow, wind, darkness normally causes more homesickness. Jane is longing for the storm. What did Jane Eyre teach me? Personally, Jane Eyre taught me that independence is a basic need. This sounds logical, but to me it didn't. To be independent at a certain level and to be true to yourself are powerful traits. Autonomy, self-love, and dignity are so important. Don't let anyone manipulate you or tell you how to feel. You are your own person and you are beautiful. Don't stay in your comfort zone and take a risk. I mean, what's wrong with staying in your comfort zone? Nothing, I guess. However, Jane didn't settle for less. She knows her worth and she literally rather dies than being dependent on people that try to hurt her in a way. This is why she wins. She doesn't betray herself. I think this novel is empowering on justice, freedom, and equality. It's an eye-opener with big life lessons about dignity. If you like feminist literature, gothic romance, coming-of-age stories, you should definitely read Jane Eyre. Jane is a fiercely independent heroine. The novel contains complex psychological depth and themes of morality, social class, and self-respect. To conclude, Jane Eyre was just beautiful. It was eloquent, intelligent, and I was astonished by the intense emotional power, and the novel inspired me a lot. After Jane Eyre, I started to read The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and I already finished it. I love this one too, but it was quite heavy, as in so much to analyze, think about, explore, and so much symbolism. So I really took my time reading this one. And my current read is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I'm just in this whole gothic vibe. I love this vibe. It's so eerie, scary, but also hauntingly beautiful at the same time, bittersweet. As for my next review, I'm thinking about The Picture of Dorian Gray, but I'm not sure yet. I might reread this one. I did make some annotations, but not a lot, because while I read Dorian Gray, I wanted to annotate almost every sentence in the beginning. So I just decided to read it because it's not so thick. It doesn't have a lot of pages. Lately, I've also expanded my book collection. Because of my birthday, I received some gifts. So I'd like to show the books I received. The first one is 100 Years of Solitude. And this is a big one, a big title, a famous one. And I'm also new with the modern Penguin classics. I'm not sure what to think of the color and the design yet, but they usually don't contain an introduction or are not as much heavy annotated as the Penguin classics. So as I showed before, The Haunting of Hill House, I'm almost finished. I really like it actually. It's very much psychological and it's really haunting. When I'm home alone, I'm kind of remembering certain passages of this book. Gives me shivers, but I really like it. And then we have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I read From Men and Mice, From Men of Mice, Mice. I don't know the title anymore. But that book, oh my God, I was really feeling with the characters and I don't want to spoil too much, but the end was just damn. It didn't traumatize me, but it was very hard to me. That was the first time when I thought, okay, if a book has this kind of parts or can be so raw and hard, I need to know beforehand. I mean, I would like to know beforehand. At the same time, I don't want to be spoiled at once. So I'm not sure what to think about it. But anyway, East of Eden seems very, very interesting and intriguing. So also looking forward to this one. And then we have The Trial by Franz Kafka. I love Franz Kafka. I only read The Metamorphosis, but I read a lot about his style and about his life, and it just speaks to me as Franz Kafka also inspired a lot of other authors. The next one is Orlando. I love Orlando in Florida. I love theme parks. No, okay. I do love them, but we're not talking about Orlando. I mean, aren't we? I don't know. I don't know which Orlando she is referring to, but Virginia Woolf, Orlando. Some friends recommended it to me and I got it for my birthday. So yeah, I'm open. I mean, the cover looks beautiful and also weird and flashy. And the last one, Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. The picture of Dorian Gray is also queer. And then there's also Maurice by E.M. Foster. I read A Room with a View. So I have some experience in queer books. Yeah, I heard this one is really good and also very important. Yeah. Thank you for watching my third video. Jane Eyre and me are very happy. Lol, lol, lol. Anyways, and also thanks for joining me on this reading journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any book recommendation or if you want me to review or read a certain book, do let me know in the comments. And again, thanks for watching. Till next time, babes. Mwah. Ciao.